I'm Gene Valentino, and I approve this message.
Trump won, but we know the real fight starts now. Congress needs a champion to move the MAGA agenda forward.
I'm Gene Valentino. Like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman and innovator. When I'm elected, I'll put you, the American people, first. We'll abolish federal income taxes. We'll slash the budget and eliminate whole government departments. We'll send every illegal immigrant packing. My message to DC is simple: lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bianca Della Garza, and you have to check out Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthscast podcast. I was a guest. He has the best guests always. Check him out.
We have our great friend, Gene Valentino, with us this morning. And Gene, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Very pleasant good morning.
So I understand that last night you had a little get-together that was pretty important. Why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, thanks for having me again. We had, as most of you know, we're running for United States Congress. Matt Gaetz' seat over here in the Panhandle, District 1. He vacated it on sort of a short notice when he resigned pending House Ethics Committee information that was about to be revealed. And what it did is it short-circuited a process. He resigned from his current term, was reelected, but not yet sworn into a second term. The question is, will he resign from the second term as well? Meanwhile, there's 10 Republicans alone in a primary coming up literally in 3.5 weeks, January the 28th, a Tuesday. 3 Tuesdays from now, we'll know where we stand on this thing. And what happened last night was very interesting. We all stepped up at a Republican GOP event in Milton, Florida. Milton is the next county over Santa Rosa. And we had the ability to express ourselves and convey our platform for about 5 minutes each. And the veterans issue over here is a big issue. You know, Michael, from Biloxi back over toward Tallahassee, it's a hub. We've got a strong military establishment going along the Gulf Coast. Keesler in your area coming back this way, trillions of dollars of American assets. And it was clear that there's a lot of people who are not. We need to make sure that the replacement for Matt Gaetz over here does not compromise Donald Trump's agenda on the MAGA agenda. And some of these Republican holdouts, this further right group, is beginning to concern me. We have a mandate from the nation which shows that the people wanted Donald Trump back and his MAGA agenda. Now, some are upset with Mike Johnson because they didn't get it completely their way. And you know, I mean, they're moving a mountain, for crying out loud, and not all of it is digestible on one swipe. We've got to take it in bite-sized doses. Give Trump and Johnson at least a year to get this thing pivoted into the direction they promised the American people. But just because, look what already happened. They took a 1,500-page bill, brought it down to something under 100 pages. They cut all kinds of fat out of it that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk had discovered. They did it overnight and embarrassed the Democrats for putting so much pork in again at the 11th hour. And now we're on a good path. And I commend Michael Guest, your congressman, and the rest of the Mississippi delegation for what you're doing to hold the line. When I'm your next congressman, I'll be side by side, shoulder to shoulder with them, supporting the Donald Trump MAGA agenda, and that will be to secure this national budget and to get the MAGA agenda underway, starting with the border, starting with mass deportation, and a balanced budget that makes sense. We're underway with a major transformation, and I'm so excited to see what this next generation of Donald Trumpism brings.
Yeah, that's going to be, let's be honest. I mean, we got, what do we got? 2 weeks, I think, couple of weeks and a day or two.
I'm looking at the calendar now. 1, 2, 3 weeks, 3 weeks and 4 days.
3 weeks and 4 days.
The 28th of January, the last Tuesday of the month. That's it.
Yeah. Well, so we'll know by then. We'll have certainly, if you get elected, we'll have a person that's going to be 100% behind Donald Trump. And I know that Michael Guest and Mike Ezell and Trent Kelly and all of the delegation from Mississippi, excluding Benny Thompson, who is not.
Well,
can you believe that the president gave that honor, that medal, to Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson? I mean, it makes me sick in my stomach.
It was those same people that violated the laws of United States Congress. I'd like to see what the House Ethics Committee and Mr. Guest have to say about Thompson and Liz Cheney. Aren't they the ones who were unethical and not bringing forward the documents and the information, the records from the hearings, the January 6th hearings that all of a sudden disappeared in the dark, the C drives, the computers, and the records? Well, they can rifle through Melania Trump's drawers over there, but they can't convey a public record to the citizens, you and me. I think there's a breach here that's gone too far.
I agree with you. Let's move on to another subject. New Year's Day, about 3:00 in the morning, you had a terrorist attack that started in the French Quarter in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, one of the most busy places in the country on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. You had a guy who was a U.S. veteran who came and did this from Houston, Texas, because apparently he thought New Orleans was a bigger kind of event that he could get to. And of course, he died at the hands of those brave law enforcement officers for New Orleans Police Department. God bless them. They're all hurt. They've been shot, but they're going to be okay. The perpetrator is dead, which is good. But, I've started to see a lot of people on X and Facebook and, the social media chat that are starting to say, this is homegrown. This is look. It tickles me to see these people who they try to find any way they can to make it less about the border and more about, a homegrown guy. This guy was influenced by people who came across the border. You're going to find out he's had contact with some of these people. We have people in our country that are very capable of doing exactly what he did on New Year's Day. And it concerns me that, the president that we currently have is still allowing all of these people across the border. It is horrible what is going on. And so the very first thing you said when you started this interview today is that that's your number one priority. And guess what? That's Donald Trump's number one priority.
Absolutely, without equivocation. Here's what I know. I know that it doesn't matter what I think about Donald Trump. If I'm truly a representative of the citizens, of our constituents, I know only one thing. Donald Trump received a mandate from this nation. He has a platform that was clear and right out there, starting with the securing of the border. Michael, for the last 4 years, how many times on these morning shows have you and I belted out comments hither and thither about the border? We got pretty inflammatory about it, not at each other, but on the point that we needed to secure our border. And here's what I'm getting at. When I get into Congress, I am going to look for Michael Guest and dozens of others like him that step up with me to help foster a constitutional amendment. We are mired in bad behavior. 400 terrorists walking around your neighborhood and mine, and we can't find them right now? Are you kidding me? This event on New Year's Eve you just described is but the tip of the iceberg. There's more coming. Why? Because we, the elected people, criminally looked the other way and allowed this illegality to make its way, this poison, this cancer, to seep its way into the neighborhoods of this nation. Are you surprised about New Year's
No.
Eve? Well, the question is, if you're not, and I know you're not, there's more coming, what are we going to do as leaders to impact the consequences upon the elected folks that looked the other way and allowed this wrong to occur throughout the nation? It's a cancer. It's just like cancer. It gets into your system, but doesn't reveal itself until sometime later. We need a constitutional amendment that incarcerates as a felony the wrongdoing of elected folks and their agents, meaning staff, the bureaucrats, some of which in office 10, 20, 30 years, that are actually fermenting this wrong behind the elected official. We need to have an amendment to the Constitution that focuses on an absolute penalty for wrongdoing. Treason, right? From the older days, remember Benedict Arnold, the treason by hanging? Well, I don't think that's what I would call current vernacular today, but we need an amendment to the Constitution that penalizes any elected officials, their agents or assigns, for the wrongdoing they do to you and me in this nation, damaging or compromising national security. Now, we can chew gum and walk at the same time, right? While we're doing this internally to clean the cesspool that has been created over the last 4 years, we have a national view of what we have to do in the nation. That the Panama Canal, the Chinese, and 300 and something thousand acres they own in and around military establishments. Their entitlement to invest in our markets. Are you kidding me? Do you have the ability to invest in China's businesses, drop money into China's banks? Do you have the ability to cross the border the way we've let this sieve, this colander of Swiss cheese, holes in it everywhere for people coming across the line? Do you really think China is going to allow that? Now, wait a minute. We've got what, 350 million people? They've got what, 4 billion people? They would eviscerate you and just make you disappear from the Earth's surface without a news story. And I'm going to tell you something. If we don't stop them now with an aggressive action and stop woke wussying around here, we're going to be in trouble. No matter how strong Donald Trump's return has brought to the surface and in plain view, Michael, the wrong we've had in our leadership these last 4 years. But let me remind you, it goes all the way back to J. Edgar Hoover and these agencies of our government that overstepped and overshadowed the authority vested into the president and into Congress. Some of these agencies, as Donald Trump has already said, need to be eliminated or significantly reduced in terms of their authority and power over the American citizens.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and if you get elected to Congress, you'll be in a great position to sort of try to implement some of those ideas. Now, Congressman Guest, we will have on after you. He is the man who was head of the ethics committee that gave the report on Matt Gaetz, and it didn't look good. I mean, and I guess you got to give the guy his day in court if that's what it is. I don't know, but I know that I trust Michael Guest. He is a very honest and good man. But in any case, we'll have to cut it short there because we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Always a pleasure. See you soon.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.